They say some sounds stay with you forever. For most people, it might be a mother's lullaby or the crash of ocean waves from a childhood vacation. For me, it's the sound of a tennis match that never truly ends. My name is Dr. Marcus Hendricks. I'm 43 years old, and I've been hearing the same tennis match for 37 years. The Foundation doesn't typically allow victims of anomalous phenomena to join their ranks, but my unique condition made me particularly valuable to their research on SCP-8626. I was 6 when I first saw it. Saturday morning cartoons had just ended, and I was flipping channels when suddenly, there it was. Wimbledon's center court, pristine and perfect. 2 figures, 1 male, 1 female, dressed in immaculate whites. I remember thinking it was strange that they were playing without a ball, but children accept oddities more readily than adults. "What are you watching, sweetie?" my mother had asked from the kitchen. "Tennis," I replied simply, transfixed by the bizarre spectacle. What struck me most wasn't the missing ball or even the fact that there was no umpire. It was the audience. Rows and rows of children, all sitting perfectly still, watching in complete silence. Their eyes followed the invisible ball back and forth across the court with mechanical precision. The match continued, point after invisible point. The players' movements became more desperate, more violent. Their grunts transformed into something inhuman. When the male player finally collapsed, his body contorting in ways that shouldn't be possible, I didn't change the channel. I couldn't. The screen flickered to static, and I thought it was over, but it wasn't over. It's never over. Patient interview 8626-17, Doctor. Marcus Hendricks, both interviewer and subject. I speak clearly into my recorder. Today marks the 37th anniversary of my exposure to SCP-8626. I adjust my position in the chair, the leather creaking beneath me. The auditory hallucinations remain consistent. Even now, I can hear the rhythmic back and forth of the invisible ball, the players breathing, the squeak of their shoes against the court. The Foundation's attempts at auditory masking continue to prove ineffective, no matter how sophisticated the noise-canceling technology. SCP-8626 cuts through it all, like it exists on a different frequency altogether. I've documented 1,247 matches since my initial exposure. They always follow the same pattern: the escalation of the players' vocalizations, the collapse, the static, then a period of relative quiet before it all begins again. I pause the recording and close my eyes. In my darkened office, the sounds seem to intensify. The Foundation soundproofed this room to the highest specifications possible, but it makes no difference. The match continues, as it always does. The most disturbing development in recent years is my growing conviction that the players are aware of me, of all of us who hear them. During particularly quiet moments, when the hallucinations should be at their minimum intensity, I sometimes hear them whisper between points. I can't make out the words, but the cadence suggests conversation, discussion, planning. Last night I dreamed I was in the audience at Center Court. I was a child again, surrounded by other silent children, but in this dream I could see the ball. It wasn't a tennis ball at all. It was... I jolt upright, sweat beading on my forehead. The most concerning aspect of SCP-8626 isn't what we know about it. It's what we don't know. How many children are exposed each year? What happens to the players between broadcasts? And most importantly, What exactly are they playing for? Despite decades of exposure, despite the Foundation's best efforts, despite everything we know about anomalous phenomena, we're no closer to understanding what SCP-8626 truly is. The match continues, and we all keep listening, whether we want to or not. This is Dr. Marcus Hendricks, concluding patient interview 8626-17. The broadcast will resume shortly. Thank you for listening to the SCP Labs podcast. Till we meet again.